right, we're about to start our post-race media availability with our third-place finisher, Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 M&M's Toyota. Kyle, give us a little bit of a rundown on that last restart and your drive to a third-place finish.
Yeah, our day, kind of started out a little slow, but then picked up. We got all the way up to fourth. I felt like our car was pretty good. And from there, just, one little change. I felt like once we got to fourth, one little change more was going to make us a good car, a car to compete for the lead. And that little change we made took us all the way back to 14th. So just, we're really battling a knife edge with our cars, it seems like. I don't know if everybody is, maybe, but, ours more than others because we do these little changes sometimes each week, and go from leading the race or third or something like that back to further back than 10th. So that last restart, though, was intense. I mean, I really doubted Dave. I thought that was a bad call coming in and putting tires on. But, man, when we went back green, everybody went fighting for the bottom. It looked like they had 80 laps on their tires, and I had stickers on, and I think they only had 8 laps on their tires. So really crazy the way that ended up, and just drove past everybody on the outside like a bad mofo, just getting my job done like I was supposed to, and kind of recovering our day and ended up third. So just thought we had a shot to win for a second with those guys racing up front the way they were. I felt like if I could get there and they were all still racing, I might have been able to pass the 22 and the 24 also, but once I got there, they were kind of single filed out, so I got there a little late and rolled home third, so we'll take it.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Kyle. You have any questions for Kyle? Okay. Well, can we get a microphone to Mike?
Mike Hembry, USA Today. What was up with the tires, do you think, with all the fire and stuff tonight? Was it just teams overstretching things or a little bit of both? Or
No, not one bit. The problem is they put a harder inside edge on the right front and right rear here, and that's essentially where we ride most of the time around the racetrack on that part of the tire. And it was why they went harder on that, I'm not sure. They could have probably left the same inside edge and actually went a little softer on the outside edge of the right sides, but it's just too hard of a compound for here. We were all really on ice, basically. It was just like having a hard tire out there. So the effort that they tried to gain with the left side tire, softening it up, you could just pick the left sides off. It didn't even feel like they did anything. So really tough for all of us to, for one, keep the tires under our cars, and for putting a harder compound on the inside edge, having it cored and come apart, and it's actually supposed to be more durable was, I think, just not the right way to go, obviously, for Goodyear.
All right. Any additional questions for Kyle before we move on to Jeff?
Whatever you said.
Something like that.
All right, Kyle.
Well, actually, I didn't hear all of it. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Do we have any questions upstairs in the press box for Kyle? All right, Kyle, thank you for your time.
You guys had 80 laps on your tires. I came from 16th.
I know you did. I wanted to take tires.
You should have.
No, I
could have looked like me.
I couldn't come through there like you. Too old.
Or smart.
Yeah.
All right, we've now been joined by our second-place finisher, Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 24 draft in Hunger Chevrolet. Jeff, a solid second-place finish for your team. You led a lot of laps tonight. Talk a little bit about just coming to the end there, that final restart, and coming home with a second-place finish.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought when we started on the inside there that we were going to have a real shot at it. My car was a little bit freer underneath those guys than I anticipated, so I kind of fell back to fourth. And, then we had, a couple more restarts. We got into third, and then there at the end, actually, I got right behind Matt on that last restart, and I knew I was better than him. It was just a matter of trying to get him up off the bottom and get a run on him, and that was tough. And then the 2 was just right there, and his car was just so good on the short runs, and to be able to go to the outside like that is just shows you how good your car is on the short runs. And so then when he got to the outside of me, I thought we were done, but then Matt started driving up the racetrack to block him and gave that inside to me. So now here I come back, and then Matt sort of turned down, and I clipped him and didn't get a good run off of 2, and then the 22 came. So at that point it was really just trying to battle with those guys to get the best finish that we could. And The 22 was in a great position while we were all sitting there sliding around, battling it out, and to come home second is still a great finish. Would have liked to have seen a longer run because we were really, really good. After about 20 laps, that's when our car really seemed to come on. And it was a great night. I mean, we're having fun. Gosh, what great race cars we're bringing to the racetrack. Great pit stops all night tonight. I mean, this is definitely, it's frustrating to not win, but it's also each time we run this good, it builds more confidence and momentum that we're going to get that win soon.
Right. We'll open for questions for Jeff. Please state your name and affiliation. Okay, let's go to up front here to Jim Utter.
Jim Utter, Shaw Observer. You kind of just touched on this, but you haven't won in a season where winning seems to mean more than ever. But you seem very confident and pleased with where your team is at right now. Is that different than you've felt about it in recent seasons?
Absolutely. I mean, as good as we're running, I definitely feel like that we can win races just about anywhere that we go, and if we continue to perform like this, we are going to win. That's how you win. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes when you just pick the right pit strategy. There's other times you get a good restart, and then there's times when you just go and outrun them. And I'll take outrunning them more times than any, because I think that's when the multiple wins are going to come. And so you're right. I mean, normally I'd be ecstatic with leading the points and where we're at and consistency, but right now, those wins are just so important that I'd rather be 12th in points right now with 3 wins than be leading the points.
All right, we will go upstairs to the press box and then come back downstairs for another question. Go ahead.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. Jeff, obviously there's different circumstances that lead to some of these great finishes, but it seems like almost every week this year there's been some exciting finish or memorable or close at least. What do you make of all that, and what's the reasoning behind that?
Well, I mean, as much as we're beating up on Goodyear right now, I think that's also contributed some great races. So, more cautions and more double file restarts and late, 10-lap, 8-lap runs to the finish. I mean, those are all things that make for great racing. And short tracks, like here at Richmond, typically bring that to the forefront anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I can only say that I'm enjoying this car, and I contribute a lot of that to my team, but also to NASCAR for making some really good adjustments. The cars are fast, they're comfortable, fun to drive. You can be aggressive with them. I think we seem to be at our best on the tracks where finesse is a little bit more important. Tire management, things like that. California, Texas, here, Martinsville, and that's where we're really shining right now, and that was the case also tonight.
Okay, we're going to go to Mike Kimbry up front here. Thank you.
Mike Embry, USA Today. 2 things, Jeff. Did Matt do anything wrong there on the last couple of laps? And what's your perspective on the tire situation?
I mean, I think Matt did, what he felt like he needed to do to win. That for some reason on that last restart, he wasn't as good as he was the previous 2, and he didn't get out there. And so, he started making his car extremely wide. And I ultimately think that might have cost him, not just the win, but more positions. But I think that as good as that 2 was there at the end, I think the 2 was probably going to win. The 2 was so much better than him that had he just run his line around the bottom, then the 2 was going to probably just get to the outside of him and go right on by. And, I mean, all night long, I just had to let the 2 and the 22 just go by me because they were so fast for 10 laps. And then I'd reel them back in. And, you can't do that at the end when you're leading the race. So, I think that Matt did what he felt like he needed to do, and he made his car really wide, and, probably didn't make the guys behind him very happy, but I can't say he did anything wrong. And the tire, I'm not a fan of the dual tread zone. We had it at Texas. The cars just slid the front, getting in the corner. That was the same case here, just has no grip in the front, getting in the corner. But I also think that we're doing a great job with this tire, making our car go fast. So while I don't like the way it drives, I also think that we're very competitive with it. So I'm not going to say a whole lot. I will just second what Kyle said is I think that the idea behind this is to make it more durable, and that does not seem to be the case. So I think there definitely needs to be a little bit more research to go into it to try to perfect it.
Yes. All right, do we have a question in the back? Is he good? Okay, any additional questions for Jeff upstairs or downstairs? Okay, we'll have one more here.
Hey, Jeff. David Halstead, Richmond Suburban Newspapers. How much does this second place finish build your confidence with the points lead?
Well, I mean, yeah, it definitely is. I mean, we're running good. We're running really good, and I'm excited about that. And anytime you're running this good consistently week in, week out on all different types of racetracks, it gives you confidence as a driver, as a team. And, but you also know, especially this year more than ever, you got to go close that out. If you're going to lead that many laps, have that good a car, you got to go close it out, and you got to get the win. And so this confidence will build. We keep running like this, but eventually it can also fall off if we don't put a win or two together with that.
All right, Jeff, congratulations on your second place finish.